A class action lawsuit has been filed in Georgia in regard to high school students who were searched by police without a warrant. Now, this story actually broke back in April, and it was reported by Radley Balco at the Washington Post. And apparently, these cops from Worth County went to Worth County High School and alleged that some of the students might have been in possession of illicit drugs. And so as a result, they decided to search 900 students without a warrant. And of course, they came up with nothing. They found no drugs. Now, the story on its own is outrageous, but keep in mind, this was the second search in 1 month that essentially turned up nothing, right? And so now we're learning more about the methods that they used, and we're learning about it through this class action lawsuit that has been filed. Now, I want to be clear about something. These are allegations. They have not been confirmed, which is why a lawsuit is necessary. We'll figure out whether or not these actions were taken by these deputies. However, this is what the lawsuit alleges. Deputies touched and manipulated students' breasts and genitals. Deputies inserted fingers inside girls' bras and pulled up girls' bras, touching and partially exposing their bare breasts. Deputies touched girls' underwear touched girls' underwear by placing hands inside the waistbands of their pants or reaching up their dresses. Deputies touched girls' vaginal areas through their underwear. And finally, deputies cupped or groped boys' genitals and touched their buttocks through their pants. Now, what's interesting is that the cops allege that these searches are perfectly fine without a warrant as long as administrators are okay with it. But administrators are actually distancing themselves from the cops here and disagreeing with what was done. In fact, the superintendent has come out and is completely against it and said, in my 40 years of doing what I do, I've never come across a situation like this. I did not agree to it. And so everything will be hashed out in court. But it's a little questionable that they took the measures that they took, that they searched as many people as they searched. And also keep in mind that the deputies had a list of 13 suspected students. Only 3 of them were in school that day. So why would you search 900 students looking for drugs? And if these allegations are true, why would they have to be as invasive as they were, right? It's all very strange. Again, it'll be hashed out through this class action lawsuit.
Right, and also what doesn't really add up to me is the superintendent has come out vehemently against what happened, but we're talking about 900 students. That takes a lot of time. What did they think was happening? Do you know what I mean? It's one of those things where I believe that they are against this. I can't imagine this if this is true. What sort of an evil superintendent you would need to be to sign off and be like, no, I'm okay. This is absolutely the appropriate way to handle the situation. But we're talking about 900 students here. That's a lot. Someone must have known something and either not spoken up because perhaps they were intimidated by law enforcement, and that's a whole separate conversation that we can have, or they just decided to not say anything. I don't know. There's something weird about this story. I think we're going to see it hashed out in the class action lawsuit. Now, of course, these are just allegations, but if there are enough students that these lawyers feel to file a class action, it means that they have some sort of evidence that they feel will really help their case. They feel like they can win this case, and they have enough testimony from a number of different students.
And maybe this is just my personal opinion, but if I had a child that was going to this school and I was notified by the school administration that there is reason to believe that some of these students, maybe even mine, is in possession of illicit drugs, okay? Here's what I would do. I would not agree to having my child searched by the authorities. I would want to have a conversation with my kid and figure it out for myself, right? This is insanely invasive. And also keep in mind, these are, they're high school students, so they're older, but still treating them like they're criminals. And we've talked about this in great length on the show. Treating them like criminals turns into a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? And it's super dangerous. I think that it, continues to reinforce this police state. And I don't know, maybe it's just getting them ready for the real world because we're all being spied on and we're all being violated day in and day out, especially if we're traveling and using airports to do so. But this is unacceptable, and I would be outraged if I found out that my daughter or son was being searched in this way in order to find drugs, right? Like it's just, the reason that they did it, if they had actual evidence that there would be, and again, they didn't find anything. The reason isn't even good enough for me. Just to find drugs, really? You're gonna violate all these kids to find drugs?
Yeah, and this also violates sort of a basic principle that I know my mom, who was a teacher, always followed, was this assumption of trust, and I'm going to assume that you are telling me the truth until proven otherwise. And by them going in and really being so invasive to this number of students, it tells the students at the highest level of law enforcement, we don't trust you, and then they're thinking, I don't trust you either. And so that sets a horrible tone moving forward for these students that had to go through this. You should always, trust them, and students, your kid or whatever, until proven otherwise. Trust that they are good. People, I think, are good. They have a good disposition, and this violates all of that,
Right, and also maybe the first time you did this mass surveillance of these kids or these mass searches, and you didn't find anything, that should have told you something. But apparently, these cops have a lot of time on their hands that they have to look for drugs and search 900 students. By the way, the school is made up of 900 students, at least according to the Washington Post.
We're not the Young Turks, you're the Young Turks. You power this show. Together, we built something amazing. We've broken stories like the Donna Brazile story the mainstream media wouldn't break. We built the studio, we built this network. It's now #1, all thanks to you guys. Let's come build it even bigger and stronger. TYTnetwork.com/join.